Alright, how's it going, everyone? So, in a previous video, I showed that I might have blown up the GTX 460, and that was due to, well, part of an issue, due to doing the switching frequency on this card. So the switching frequency stock is about 270 kilohertz, and I made it so that way it ran 920 kilohertz. That's why in the video I said not to recommend doing it, and in previous video before that I also recommend not to do it because it could have consequences. It's just putting too much stress on the controller for the MOSFETs as well. So I'm going to go over this card here on how I found the solution and fixed the solution for this GTX 460. Now, I've already taken apart the card, so it's easy to take off the cooler. But here we go. Here's the GTX 460. It does need a good cleaning, yes, but here is the GTX 460. If you don't know, this card has been modified with MLCC caps, tantalum polymer caps, all surface mount as well. I did take off all of my aluminum polymer caps, which are these can caps. I took off all of them just to verify they were not an issue, and I took off some more surface mount caps as well, MLCCs. It's always good to check. Good way to check your multimeter, by the way. Just put it on resistance here, and then check with the two prongs together. Should read very low ohms. If I hold this together, it'll go down to 0.1. And that's also how you know whether or not this multimeter is fairly good. And yeah, this multimeter is pretty good in my opinion. So now we got the card here. I'm gonna put it to power. And you gotta check, like I said, the first choke here. We're gonna do the first choke. Should read very low ohms. And then if we go to ground, to that choke, we should read higher. And we do. That's how you know there is no short on that pin. And you can go through each of the 12-volt pins or even the grounds. Check the ground pins here, which are the top pins on this one. Check the ground to that as well. Make sure there's no short on that. Mega ohms, reading very high. So that means there's no short. Now, what I was getting when I was testing this on the 12-volt was I was testing to the 12-volt, and yeah, that was fine. As soon as I tested the ground to the 12-volt, I had a 12-volt to ground short. Now, that could not mean that this part is wrong, but the way I like to figure out the graphics cards is work my way from the source, the power source, so it's your 12-volt power source. So you go from your 12-volt power source, and you're going to work your way to wherever this 12-volt power source goes to. And you're going to work your way and see what could be the issue. Now, this card here, I was having issues with this 12-volt power source, so this top pin. This right here was reading wrong. This capacitor was reading wrong. These MOSFETs over here were reading wrong. But I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure the memory's fine, and the memory chips themselves are reading wrong too, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere over here. So I started testing this way, and it was reading wrong on these caps here, this choke here, not these two. So this phase, this one phase, goes to this 6 pin and to the memory channel, to the memory. So here's the memory MOSFETs, and here's this one phase that goes to the core, and here's the other two phases that go to the core. These two, because I tested with from the 12-volt source to this phase here, this VRM, this phase. So VRM is your MOSFETs, your chokes, and your caps, everything all in line, whatever might be there as well, like your little controller for switching frequency controller here. But the switching frequency controller can also go to the actual chip itself, right here, This is an NCP5388 chip, and yeah, there could be issues there and showing faults there too, depending on how that's laid out. But yeah, it generally will show a fault. That's how I also thought maybe there's a fault on that controller, and the controller need to be fixed up. A few issues with that, but this card here, I was having short on this phase in the memory. I'm like, okay, well, the memory, everything looks really good this way, as in visual inspection, everything looked good. Okay, well, I'll move on. After I took off this choke, this 1RO choke here, that comes off this 12-volt source, I tested the pads underneath, and they also read a short. I'll leave a picture right here, show the picture of what I did for it, and what I did for testing purposes too, because I didn't want to put the choke back on right away. So I took that off. Okay, same thing. I took off all those other caps that were saying there's a fault on them too, just in case one of the MSLCC caps have grounded itself from 12 volt to ground somehow. So I took those off as well. Now, okay, so I started working my way over to this first phase, this phase here, phase 1, that goes from this 12 volt source. I tested all these MOSFETs. This one was good. This one was good. This one was not reading good. So the first 3 pins were reading correctly, as in they were going to ground, but then I tested the 4th pin, which is the actual drain part. That was actually reading wrong. That was reading as a short, as in basically it's another ground, when that should have been for the voltage out. And okay, so I'm like, okay, well, everything looks good. So I guess it was just part of, it was just bad. It was just bad. So here it is. Here's the MOSFET. Right there on top of the choke. And it looks good. Everything looked fine onto it. Everything looks good on this board. There's temperature is really good. But maybe with the switching frequency, maybe just due to the fact I did a Furmark run too, for testing purposes after testing it on lighter loads, caused it to fry this. And I didn't have proper cooling on the VRM, which I thought would have been fine since I was at stock voltages, but apparently not. The switching frequency makes these run a lot higher, so since I literally tripled the switching frequency on these MOSFETs, yeah, it caused it to burn out one of my MOSFETs. So I took that off. I was lucky. I got lucky on this because I could still use this card, and it runs basically like this, like stock, like normal. Due to the fact it was a low side MOSFET and it's doubled up low side MOSFET, I was able to remove that and still able to use the card. I will be using this card for the trash cup for hardwarebot.org. So my PC will be 100% comprised of 2010 PC components. I'm not going to talk about exactly what I'm using, but I will be using this GT610 fully modified up. Probably will be using stock cooler, but that is what it is. I might modify the cooler too, so we'll see about that. If you want to see that, leave me a comment in the comment section below. I'll do a live stream on how I'll modify the cooler to hopefully run a bit cooler on this card, since the stock cooler is not very good. But that's the way I like to do it as well, is you want to test, let's say you do have a short somewhere, test each pin, test the components off of that pin. If let's say this one's shorted over to this pin here, it means these 2 pins are connected somehow, somewhere internally on the board, and that makes it so it's a little bit trickier to do it with just a multimeter. Since I just have a multimeter and this is 2 separate pins, this is a way you can do it. Voltage injection is an easier way, but then you'd have to take precaution doing voltage injection to find the actual short. But this is how you do it. Here's the choke. I took that off. Took off everything that was easy roughly to take off and what could cause the issue, and then started working on the VRM. And the VRM can, for the MOSFET side, could vary. It does vary on the MOSFETs on how the MOSFET, as you can see here, there's 4 pins, there's 3 ground and one drain for it. So one of the actual voltage for the core or wherever it's going to, like the memory. And that's what you want to do, is just test it, test each one, and if there's one that seems like it's a lot like a lot worse than the other ones, that could be a faulty MOSFET or starting to go, and best to remove and replace it as needed. That's it for this video here. I just wanted to show that I got this card working. I'm not going to show it working right now, but I'll be showing it working on live stream. And the card's still fully modified except for voltage control, which I'll put the voltage control back onto it, which is right here. Core voltage control back onto it later on. Since I've been testing it on stock cooler, having the extra voltage, it's kind of not good. It runs too hot, and I don't want to run it too hot. But that's it. I will be using this card for, again, the trash bench for hardwarebot.org. I will be building a 100% PC 100% built in 2010. Every component from PSU, CPU, motherboard, RAM, and a GPU and case as well will be 100% from 2010. So stick around for that, and I'll be doing that live on my live stream. That's how you want to test out your card as well. Again, this card is fully modified for memory and core voltage. A ton of extra capacitors put onto it. Has no overcurrent protection or under voltage protection, and has switching frequency as well for upping the switching frequency from 270 kilohertz to 920 kilohertz. Not recommended, of course. Right around that 500 to 600 kilohertz, depending on how you can do it. Around that would be a safer option to do. And it also depends on the MOSFETs you're using, whether or not they can handle it, and the actual controller, and whether or not the controller can handle super high switching frequencies, because some can handle like 2 megahertz, which is absolutely wild. Since this controller and the MOSFETs can only handle 1 megahertz, 920 kilohertz is basically right there at its max. If you want to see other videos like this, maybe go through how to test everything. A little bit better testing wise, as in fully testing, show how I go, and I'll show it on a card that might be broken, or I'll just start showing you how to do it on a broken card and then starting to fix it from there. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll go over how I quickly figure out how or what is wrong with a graphics card, especially after doing modifications to it. With these older cards, even just running them stock, they can just start going on you due to the fact they have like 10, 16 years or 15 years or 20 years onto them, depending on the card you have. This card is from 2010. It does have 16 years of use. So, and yeah, the original owner that I got it from, again, thank you for donating this card. Had this card for a very, very long time and used it for his main PC for a very long time until he upgraded. So, had a lot of wear onto it, and I've been overclocking it and getting some good scores with it. That's it for this video, though. Again, if you like the video, like the video. If you, just want to comment on the video, comment on the video. If you want to see other stuff like this, let me know in the comment section below. Again, thank you to all my viewers, subscribers, and donators. You guys are helping this channel more than you know. And again, as always, don't forget to get her done. Peace.